EastEnders exposes the truth about Martin's death in early iPlayer release. Cindy is found out. EastEnders has finally exposed the truth about Martin Fowler's death. After Cindy Beale's surprise return, Cindy gatecrashed Lauren and Peter's engagement party in Harry's barn this week, after being away from Walford since February. The Beales and the Knights were less than pleased to see Cindy in today's episode, after all the hurt she caused last year, and Lauren demanded that she leave immediately. Peter desperately tried to keep the peace and pulled Cindy aside, where it was revealed to Lauren and to viewers that he's been in contact with his mum for a while. Lauren was devastated by her fiancé's betrayal, and back at home, she asked Peter to choose between her and Cindy. Meanwhile, Lauren, who is heavily pregnant, continued to experience pain. With Peter returning to the party alone, Cindy felt frustrated that she had been cut off while the Beales and the Knights continued to live in harmony, so she decided to tell everyone that it was Kathy who attacked her on Christmas Day. Elaine and George were furious that they had been lied to for months, and all hell broke loose. But Cindy got a shock of her own when she realised that Peter and Lauren already knew Kathy was the culprit. Ian then decided to expose a few home truths himself, revealing that Cindy shot him after finding out about Kathy, and that she pushed him in front of Rice's car, causing the explosion in the Vic. Peter and the Knights were horrified that Cindy inadvertently caused Martin's death, while Kathy wished she had never saved her from the collapsing pub. Having been completely shunned by her loved ones, Cindy made a dramatic exit. As the two families made amends, Peter was enraged that they all felt able to move on from everything that had happened. Meanwhile, Cindy later called round to confront Lauren once and for all, but in the flat, she was shocked to discover her arch-enemy in labour. Will Cindy help Lauren in her time of need? EastEnders' Cindy Beale to expose sordid affair in Bombshell revealed Jean discovers the truth. Choosing her moment for maximum impact, shunned Cindy exposes the affair to get back at her mother-in-law, but Jean is crushed in the process. Will Harvey come clean about the extent of his feelings for Kathy, or lie to protect Jean's? The week begins with Harvey's affair still safely under wraps, as he helps the Slaters prepare for a family camping trip. However, his efforts to play peacekeeper backfire when another war breaks out between Lily and Stacy. Exploding with frustration, Harvey storms out and heads straight to the cafe to see Kathy. Two-timing Harvey's moaning doesn't go down well with his secret lover, and Kathy gives him the brush off. At 31, the Slaters make up, throwing together a makeshift camp when their trip falls through, and Harvey returns home to this happy family scene, overwhelmed with guilt, but a bigger surprise awaits. Harvey's heart is full of Kathy, but then Jean proposes, reveals our source. Harvey feels sick at the sight of Jean down on one knee, beaming with joy, but when he doesn't respond, Jean runs away, seeking advice from Kathy of all people. While Jean confides in the other woman, Harvey prepares to come clean, but when Jean gets home, Harvey's words come out all wrong, and she assumes he's agreeing to marry her after all. Mortified, Harvey makes a quick escape as the Slaters celebrate, but when he shares an illicit kiss with Kathy, he has no idea Cindy has seen it all and has recorded the whole thing. The square is soon abuzz with news of Harvey and Jean's engagement, and the Slaters head to the Vic. The pub is also playing host to a party for Lauren Branning and Peter Beale's new baby. But Cindy's arrival causes a stir as the Beales make it clear she's not invited. Cindy has nothing to lose at this point, says our insider. If she's hurting, she wants everyone else in pain too. She takes great delight in pressing play on that video and ruining lives. The Slaters and the Beales reel at Cindy's footage, as newly engaged Jean demands answers from the man she loves. Later, at home, Kathy tells Ian Beale about her affair and the feelings she has for Harvey, but will he be as honest with Jean and finally leave her? EastEnders Suki to discover Avani and Joel's shocking secret next week. The Panissars get suspicious. When new neighbours Vicky and Ross engage in a mysterious conversation with Avani, suspicious Suki wants to know what their problem is. But when she discovers Ross's son Joel has had sex with Avani, the concerned grandmother confronts the troubled teen to check it was consensual. Will Suki get the truth out of Avani? Suki's scared Avani was taken advantage of, explains our Walford insider. Avani's confident and headstrong, but the trauma she went through at the police station has altered her outlook. Suki needs to know Joel didn't overstep her boundaries. Suki's discovery comes as Ross and Vicky's concern for Joel increases. With Vicky now in the loop about the trouble Joel left behind in Australia, she's adamant his behaviour in Walford needs to be squeaky clean. But after learning Joel had sex with Avani, alarm bells are ringing for the anxious parents. Vicky urges Ross to speak to Ravi and Priya sooner rather than later, but he chickens out and goes straight to Avani. Suki immediately clocks Ross's chat with the teenager and guesses something is wrong. When she corners the shady dad and asks what business he has with Avani, Ross makes up an excuse. But later, when Suki asks Vicky the same question, she gets a completely different answer, and Vicky's forced to confess. Vicky doesn't want to make any enemies on the square, says our source. She totally understands Suki's desire to protect Avani, and now Ross has told her the truth about Joel's death. She wants him reined in. After hearing the truth from Vicky, Suki attempts to speak to Avani in private, but she's not interested and storms out, wondering if the chat would come better from her mum. Suki tries to talk to Priya, but with Ravi in earshot, Suki soon shuts up, imagining how he might react. Later that day, Suki finds a quiet moment to tell Priya, but Ravi walks in mid-conversation and hears everything. Out for blood. Ravi storms over to know 43 to lay into Joel, but when Ross intercepts, a brawl breaks out between the two dads. Will Suki, Priya and Ravi give Avani the space she needs to talk about her relationship with Joel? And in light of Joel's behaviour in Walford, how will Ross stop his son repeating the mistakes he made in Australia? Fresh EastEnders horror as devastating Shireen's secret is exposed in early BBC iPlayer release. Penny Branning has revealed a heartbreaking secret about dead Shireen Bashar to her grieving ex-boyfriend Harry Mitchell. Last week, police arrested the Mitchells' associate Benji for the murder. However, they had serious questions for Harry's mum Nicola, whose bracelet was found on the body. They also wanted to know why Benji had been handed $20,000 after receiving some dodgy messages on a burner phone. Harry immediately suspected that something more sinister was afoot and cornered her in with a crowbar, splashing spirits all over the office of her bar. He prepared to torch the place, but Dad Teddy stopped him. Harry disowned his parents and darted off. Nicola then admitted to Teddy that although Benji had helped to dispose of Shireen, she was the one who had accidentally killed her during a row. In today's episode, Harry woke up at the Arches and was severely hungover. Luckily, his Uncle Billy found him and took him to Walford East to sober up. Back at home, the argument between Teddy and Nicola was escalating as he ordered her to leave Albert Square forever. Later, during their lunch, Billy told Harry that he should make amends with his parents and forced father and son into a difficult conversation. It didn't end well. Despite Teddy's apology and assurance that he will never stop fighting for a place in his life, Harry marched out, but Billy chased after him, trying to get him to understand his dad's side of the situation. Following the pep talk, he prepared to go home and hear out his parents. However, Penny approached him and revealed a damning secret that Shireen's mate Felicity told her in November. At the time, Penny wanted to unearth some information surrounding the murder and arrange the clandestine meetup. Felicity said that she knew Shireen was pregnant with Harry's child. Now knowing an extra layer of tragedy, an enraged Harry burst into no. One, and told Nicola and Teddy that not only was his girlfriend killed, but also his baby. Surely there is no way they can come back from this. 4 EastEnders spoilers next week for 12th, 15th May 2025. Cindy Beale exposes Kathy Cotton's affair with Harvey Monroe. 1. Cindy Beale exposes Kathy Cotton's affair with Harvey Monroe. Harvey prepares for the Slater camping trip, but it's one disaster after another when Jean refuses to go without daughter Stacey Slater, which upsets granddaughter Lily. Harvey convinces Stacey to come, but Lily is adamant she doesn't want Stacey there. Harvey explodes, heading to the cafe to seek solace with secret lover Kathy, only to receive the cold shoulder. Stacey and Lily later make amends, and the Slaters rally to set up a makeshift camp at home when Alfie Moon reveals the camper van is no longer available. Harvey is overcome with guilt and heads to the square, but when he returns home, Jean proposes Harvey is unable to give Jean an answer, and the heartbroken woman flees to the cafe, where she confides in none other than Kathy. Harvey is tight-lipped when questioned by Alfie, and soon he prepares to tell Jean the truth, But things go from bad to worse when Jean mistakes Harvey's words as an acceptance of her proposal, and Harvey makes an excuse to leave while the Slaters celebrate. Harvey heads to see Kathy for a kiss, but they're unaware that Cindy is watching and has recorded the whole encounter. Cindy later interrupts Kathy and Ian Beale's preparations for the baby's welcome home party, before the family gather with friends to celebrate the birth of Lauren Branning and Peter Beale's second child. But Cindy gatecrashes in the Queen Vic and is shunned by Peter. Meanwhile, Harvey and Jean are asked to the pub to officially announce their engagement. Feeling cast out once again, Cindy plays the video of Kathy and Harvey kissing for all to see. The locals reel over the footage as Jean presses Harvey on its contents, while Kathy heads home with Ian and reveals all about her affair. How will Jean react to Harvey's betrayal? 2. Ravi Gulati and Ross Marshall square up over their kids. Ross and girlfriend Vicky Fowler continue to worry about Joel's behaviour, and Vicky tries to persuade Ross to speak to Ravi and Priya Nandrahat about their discovery the previous week. Ross decides to speak to Avani instead, but Suki Panasar Unwin spies their conversation from afar and is suspicious of the clandestine chat. Ross and Avani give different versions of events when questioned about their chat, which only raises Suki's suspicions. This forces Vicky to reveal to Suki that Joel slept with Avani. Suki tries to speak to Avani about this, but Avani storms out, leading Suki to try and talk to Priya about the situation. She covers when Ravi is in earshot, and later finds a quiet moment to reveal all to Priya. But Ravi returns home, mid-conversation, and hears everything. Ravi heads over to confront Joel, where a fight breaks out between Ross and Ravi. How will it end? And with Joel having exhibited some worrying behaviour, is this linked to the reason he and Ross had to leave Australia? 3. Harry Mitchell misread signals from Gina Knight. Gina grows concerned for Harry, and secretly reveals all to his parents, Nicola and Teddy Mitchell, when they accost her over his well-being. Teddy and Nicola head to the Archers to speak to Harry, who dismisses their concerns and later has a go at Gina. Gina denies any wrongdoing, and the pair eventually make amends in the Vic. But there, Jay Brown warns Gina about her growing friendship with Harry. As the week continues, Harry misreads Gina's signals, and he leaves to take solace in the Vic with his uncle, Billy Mitchell. Gina goes in search of Harry, but Billy questions her on recent events with Harry, and she heads to the Albert. Will Gina and Harry get on the same page? We know that Harry recently discovered that Nicola murdered his girlfriend, Shireen Bashar. So is this linked to the worry he's causing his loved ones? 4. Linda Carter tries to convince Phil Mitchell to make amends with Sharon Watts. Linda is confused when Phil is reluctant to call Sharon, but then Phil drops the bombshell that Sharon slept with his brother, Grant Mitchell. Even so, Linda tries to persuade Phil to speak to Sharon, and as the pair are co-parents to young son, Albie, Phil will surely have to find a way to get along with Sharon despite her betrayal. Can Linda help Phil get over the awkward situation?
Các bạn vừa theo dõi một sản phẩm của EastEnders Spoiler TV. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại các bạn